Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flavor of the Week, brought to you by Bandidos, fresh, made daily. In Flavor of the Week, Kyle sits down with one of our local priests over 4 different episodes to sample variations of a favorite food or drink while they discuss the ins and outs of life as a priest.
This is Kyle Hyman, and I am here with Father Bill Kummer for our Flavor of the Week Part 1, brought to you by Bandidos, fresh, made daily. Today, instead of doing some Bandidos food, you brought up the idea of doing cupcakes for our flavor.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm pretty sure that was Andrea that said that. I had mentioned single malt scotch.
For the record.
For the record.
Next time. For part 5, maybe. Mm-hmm. So she has gone ahead and picked out some delightful looking cupcakes here. We have
I'm so happy
regular...
that Bandidos sponsors such wonderful things. I'm looking forward to it. You have them named here.
Well, there's one that's just a regular vanilla. I don't know if they have official names. This is just it's a fancy one, but it's a vanilla cupcake. We've got a peanut butter chocolate of some sort, like peanut butter cup. There's an angel food cake, and then the Fruity Pebbles cake, which is topped with cereal.
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. Have you ever had that cereal?
Never have had that cereal.
So, just judging a book by its cover, which one do you think looks the best here?
I'm probably going to lean to the angel food one here.
Okay. So do you want to start with that one or save it for last?
We'll save it for last. I think we should just get into the Fruity Pebble just to see what it tastes like. Never had it before.
Well, actually, we'll just cut these in half here, and then
It looks interesting.
Oh my! The whole inside is all colorful too.
Oh. Here, okay. It's kind of a breakfast food, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, go ahead and...
I have to get this fork out and try that.
Well, you can use your fingers if you want.
Well, I'm going to let you taste that first because I want to see exactly what happens to you after you do that.
If I change colors, you'll know why. This is...
Well, here we go. To your
Cheers.
health. Excuse me. The little stuff on the top is chewier than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That is a lot of sugar.
It's a lot of chewy too. Yes, it is. It is sweet. Of course, I like sweet stuff. So
yeah, I think the cereal's been on there for a few hours, so it's lost its crisp.
Well, now we don't have to eat this all right away. I can nibble at this through this whole little section, right?
You can just pound this down in one sitting, or you can let it last. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you had mentioned we were going to begin talking about some vocational stories. So that's not terribly exciting for me. So I'll be able to get into that cupcake to do that.
Well, we have you on every first Friday for Kummer's Corner. But I feel like in the 2 years that I've been able to kind of pick your brain about things and stuff, we haven't gotten into a whole lot of your vocational discernment process. Let's start with your family background growing up. What kind of a family did you come from?
Okay, I'm the youngest of 3. I have 2 older sisters. We grew up in a multi-generational household, meaning that our grandmother lived in a house with us. Mm-hmm. And I remember she was visited maybe once a week at about 6 o'clock in the morning by the associate pastor of our parish, who later became the auxiliary bishop of the diocese. His name was Bishop Crowley. And perhaps seeing him so early in the morning before school sort of probably put in my mind it was a good idea to think about that. And of course, in my house, maybe due to my mother more so than my father, but vocation as option was talked about very often. Uh-huh. And I am the youngest of grandmother Royance's grandchildren, and my godfather was the oldest of them. Huh. And so it's probably just environmental things. I think I told you before we started recording that my vocational story is not terribly exciting. There's no moment of St. Paul falling off a horse. There's no moment of prayer when suddenly there was a light shining. Rather, it always seemed to me to be a good idea. And out of my 8th grade class, there were several of us who went to prep school with the thought of perhaps of entertaining seminary later on. And 2 of us actually stayed on. You might know the other one. Name is Monsignor Schulte. Bob and I met each other on the first day of first grade. Went to grade school together, high school together. Then I went to a real seminary, and he went to St. Meinrad or someplace. And
Why did you go to different seminaries?
Well, who knows?
Okay.
I think that there was some desire for Bob to be sort of independent and spend experience in this diocese that usually the seminarians end up at the seminary of their bishop. And Bishop Pursley was a graduate of St. Mary's in Cincinnati, so that's where I went.
Okay.
Just like the guys today go to St. Mary's in Emmitsburg, but that's where Bishop Rose went. So
A little biased, maybe.
Maybe it's just that they are familiar more with
Yeah.
the territory than I. Anyway, so that's kind of the reason I went there and never came home. So eventually felt that it was what the Lord wanted. The current word they use in the seminary is discernment. I don't know that was too popular back in the 1960s to discern, but certainly we went through a discernment, although we didn't call it that. It is sort of evaluation and review and sort of a spiritual analysis through our spiritual directors. And ultimately, you had a conference with the vocation director, and then later on with the bishop. And so on that wonderful May morning in 1975, they called my name again, and I showed up, and Bishop Pursley imposed his hands on my then not bald head. And from that time now, I've been a priest of this diocese, served in many parishes. And if you want to talk about that later on in this interview, we can.
Yeah.
But I guess my vocation story is that it seemed like a good idea, and no one ever said it wasn't a good idea. And hopefully I've been of some service to God's people across this diocese.
Well, I know that to be true for sure. If you didn't become a priest, what do you think you would be doing today?
When I was a kid, I always thought I'd like to travel, or at least did then. I thought I would love to be a cross-the-road truck driver. God is merciful. I never got a chance to do that, and boy, am I happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever think, I always think being a truck driver has to be a difficult job. You're on the road a lot, away from family.
Yeah, all those things.
Sitting in the same seat, in the same position the whole time. But I do think it could be fun for a month.
Maybe. I just like to go to different places and think about the history of that stuff. And I'm sure those who travel with me now, and if we're going by car, really get sort of annoyed because I talk about everything I see and history that I know about those places. So God's good, I say. And so thanks be to God that I did feel called and did stay in the seminary.
If you did become a truck driver, what would your CB handle be?
Who knows? I had never gave that a thought. Probably, hey, you.
We're talking with Father Bill Kummer for Flavor of the Week, Part 1, as we're trying one of 4 different cupcakes.
I'm going to take another bite of this Fruit Loop and see what it tastes like.
Yeah.
What's it called? Not Fruit Loop.
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles, okay.
Yeah, but with like a rainbow cake. So there's a teal colored cake, a pink cake, and a yellow cake. All inside the together, cupcake, yeah.
I think you had the teal part. I don't think I had that flavor yet.
So what do you think of this so far?
Pretty sweet. Reminds me of a 3-year-old's birthday party.
Oh, 3-year-olds would love this. I have a 3-year-old. Yeah, I feel like there needs to be unicorns around.
This afternoon, I got an opportunity to chat with my doctor before he retires. He's coming by for a visit, and hopefully these will not be on the table when he arrives.
Hopefully he doesn't check your glucose levels.
Exactly right.
Well, Father Bill, you talked about your discernment. You kind of skipped over middle school and high school. Did you have hobbies, interests, sports, things that you did, jobs?
Well, we all had to have some kind of a job. In my day, of course, education in the seminary was not as expensive as it is now. So they expected us to at least have a summer job. I had some things that were interesting. I went to work for a dairy.
Okay.
He's long gone from here now, but it was called the Wayne Cooperative Milk Producers. And I had the opportunity to clean the milk hauling trucks. So it was like getting into these stainless steel tankers and with not a lot of room. And I had a bucket of bactericide, a hose with steam, and a hose with cold water.
Are you wearing your regular clothes, or are you in a special hazmat suit?
It doesn't make any difference. Whatever you were wearing, you're going to be wet. And so you get there, and you get this little mop, and you clean and polish the inside. And the reason, of course, is that milk really grows bacteria faster than anything. So we had to use this bactericide and then wash the whole thing out with the steam and then with the water and then climb back out. And then you had to sign your name that you had done that, so they could take the truck out the next day and bring in more milk in it. That was probably the thing it wasn't fun. I went to work at 5 in the afternoon and got off at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so there wasn't a lot of fun that summer, but they did pay me.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody from Solomon Construction. I also lied a little bit and told them that I was 18 when I was only 17. But I worked a little bit, but they were building I-69 here on the west side of town, out near the Yoni Road. There was nothing there. We were just putting the fine grade down. So that was an interesting job. That summer I was the best paid kid. They paid me $2.91 an hour, which was way above the $1.25 that most of my classmates were making that summer.
And that's because they thought you were 18.
I lied. And I have confessed and hopefully been forgiven. And see, what else did I? Well, we all worked for a while for the old St. Joe Hospital. Most of us were put into the laundry. There was a Sister Edwardine, the poor handmaids who did the laundry, and I was in line to go to the laundry and got pulled out by the maintenance department and sent to the paint shop. And the word for a fellow named Mike. Mike taught me words that my mother would never allow me to say. Oh, man, he had a mouth. And nonetheless, I thought it was going to be fun, but I got to paint the bumpers in the parking lots with that yellow safety paint. My gosh. I should have just went to the library, studied, and maybe said my prayers. It would have been a better preparation. But those are some of the things I got to do in the summertime.
How many of those little concrete bumpers?
How many? Oh, I was there probably, seemed like 5 years, but maybe 50 or so. I don't know. All those places change, with time. Where the parking lot was, there's now a building there. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Well, this has been fascinating. I love hearing stories of priests and how they became priests and reminded that, work regular jobs and do anything. Did you grow up on a farm?
No, I grew up on Lafayette Street. We're about 4 miles south of my boyhood home.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seem like a farm guy.
Well, thank you for that. We have a lot of agricultural people in this parish, so
maybe that's
thank you for that.
Maybe I'm projecting the atmosphere. All right. Well, we have 1 cupcake down, 3 to go. We've got the peanut butter chocolate cup. We've got the vanilla and the angel food cake. Those will be coming up on future episodes of Flavor of the Week with Father Bill Kummer. Remember, Flavor of the Week is brought to you by Bandidos, fresh made daily.
Fresh made daily. I like Bandidos, always have, and been very kind to priests, so we thank them there.
All right. Thank you, Father Bill.